What's up, guys? Welcome back to Among the Fence, my YouTube channel where I do music reviews on albums and singles and EPs. My name is Aaron. If you have anything you want me to review, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what it is. We will throw it up on the whiteboard and it'll be featured on a Request Wednesday. Please don't forget to subscribe if you do that. That way you don't miss out on your future review, or if you just want to help support my channel. Today we're going to be checking out the new album, Baptize, by the band Atreyu. I'm sure there's not a lot of people out there who aren't familiar with this band, but just in case, Atreyu is a metalcore band from California. They've been around since 1998. Then in 2011, they weren't really around anymore. And then they came back in 2014, and they've been gracing us with their presence ever since. And they currently have 8 studio albums out. Admittedly, Atreyu isn't really my favorite band. Their first couple albums were killer, but I still didn't really find myself going to them all that often. I was more drawn to like As I Lay Dying and Killswitch Engage and bands like that. I don't know why. I couldn't really get into their sound that much. The vocals, there's a lot of different reasons. I just wasn't really all that into them. And they are the self-proclaimed metalcore genre inventors, or they created metalcore supposedly according to them. I probably wouldn't place them on, I wouldn't say that they did. I would say there's other bands that are more suited for taking the title of the creator of metalcore, but that's just me. If I had to sum up the theme of this album into 3 words, it would be beaten, broken, and something to do with darkness, just because those are like the 3 words that get repeated very, very frequently throughout all of the songs on this album. Just about every other song has something to do with beaten, broken, or some sort of darkness and having to overcome it, and you're gonna get stronger, and I won't be beaten, but I'm broken, and it's just, yeah, it kind of becomes a little bit monotonous, just because when every other song seems to kind of revert back to the same sort of topic and theme and subject over and over again. Out of 15 songs, even though this is like a 44 minute long album, something like that, 15 songs of almost the same exact thing, it does kind of grow weary after a while. The album opens up with this intro-y kind of song called The Strange Powers of Prophecy. I believe that they're using a didgeridoo in this song. I think that's what it is. It's one of my favorite instruments. It sounds really cool. The vocals are choir-like in a way. It's kind of a silly thing, but I enjoyed this song, but the album doesn't really actually start until the second song, which is the title track, Baptize. The intro and the verse made me a little confused, mainly because like the guitar riff, when it first kicks in, you're like, yes, this is great. And then it just cuts out for these vocals that have a weird effect on it. And it's just weird, and you're left kind of like, wait, what? Why are you doing that? What happened to the cool riff I was just hearing? But the chorus, it does bring it all together with kind of a catchy hook, but the lyrics are extremely predictable. And the post-chorus, where they say baptized over and over again, and the drums kind of make the song a little bit better, but it's just very arena rock. There's not a whole lot of depth to the song. You listen to it once or twice, and you're kind of over it. Unfortunately, the next 3 songs don't really get any better. The song Save Us has a very simple riff that's kind of heavy. It's very angsty, and the vocal delivery it's kind of weird. I feel like they had a good idea, but they just didn't really know how to execute it. The heavier moments are decent, but then the clean moments, it's going to be insulting to say this, but they're kind of like Imagine Dragon inspired, and the lyrics are cliche as hell. The next song, Underrated, again has a cool aggressive riff to it with some pretty decent drum work. It's a little bit smoother, going from clean to the distorted, heavier parts. I feel like this song is about becoming stronger by going through like the trials of life, and like as you come out of it, you're toughened and you can make it through basically anything. The refrain is pretty dope, and so is the breakdown, which comes after the bridge, but it's immediately ruined by the chorus that comes in. It sounds like something out of like a sports movie, like the main team that you're rooting for that's supposed to win, they're the underdogs and they're losing, and then this soundtrack comes on, and all of a sudden you realize they're going to start kicking butt and they're going to win. The song directly after it, which is Broken Again, which is kind of, it goes along with the theme here. It's got another decent riff, extremely boring verse. The chorus sounds like they basically like mixed up underrated and Baptize. Like they just kind of took these two ideas that they had from these two songs and put them together. It's just lyrically, it's just very boring. The solos and the breakdown, I mean, it's just it's not a good song. There are some improvements though with the next song, and probably my favorite song on the album, called Weed. It's got a really cool riff in the intro. The verse carries like a lot of attitude in it. The vocals are great. Even in the chorus, the lyrics are solid. The melody from the guitar solo is fantastic. The bridge is phenomenal. I feel like this song aims to kind of let people know that Atreyu, or at least the vocalist, is kind of doing his own thing and he's fine without everybody else's opinions. And it does a really good job at really presenting itself in not an overly cheesy way, but like sonically, it's a really good sounding song. The next song is also really good, called Deadweight, which is basically like the fear of just being a deadweight in life. It's got an interesting guitar passage and the chorus has some potential. And as you're listening to it, you're like, okay, like, is this just going to be it? Or are they actually going to do something with this song? Because it feels like you could do something with it. And then the main guitar riff comes in and you're just like, yes, this is it. This is what I wanted them to do. And the second chorus is fantastic. It's got tons of emotion in it. I didn't really care for the solo, but the bridge does more than make up for it. Another great song is Sabotage Me, which is another favorite on here. The lyrics are a little bit more thought out. The chorus has some layers to it and adds some character, which you don't really see too much throughout this album. Ignoring the lyrics, this is a really great sounding song all around, even though the lyrics aren't really that bad. But overall, if you just listen to it without trying to dissect it all, it's phenomenal. The bridge might be my favorite part on this entire album. It's really dark and melancholy, and it does a good job at communicating the emotion it's trying to get across. But then you also have songs like Catastrophe, which has like this robotic kind of guitar tone going on. Echoey vocals are a little bit too strong. There's like, the chorus is good, but it's just a very superficial song. Like the second verse brings the heat, but it's just an arena rock song. That's all it feels like to me. It's very superficial, not a lot of depth to it. It kind of loses its charm after like their third or fourth listen. And then you have another song like No Matter What. Starts out with this very pretty piano melody, and it's got like this throwback vibe to it. The chorus has a good hook, and the lyrics are actually not that bad. The music is great. I just wish that there was a little bit more in the verses. It feels like the song doesn't really move along. It becomes a little bit redundant and boring. It just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. And then you have two of the cringiest songs on the album, Effed Up and Untouchable. The lyrics are absolutely horrible and overused. The chorus is chanty and inspiring on Effed Up. The second verse has like this Gojira kind of Tool thing going on. The breakdown is extremely basic. It's like an anthem for anybody who's ever made a mistake in life, which is, super deep and really well thought out. They put a lot of thought into this thing, and it's just... And then the song Untouchable, again, very cringy. It's like all of a sudden they decided to take inspiration from like Attila or Amir, and they just put together these really kind of trashy songs it just doesn't fit in the album whatsoever, and they're extremely boring. It's less than filler. And the song Oblivion, which I have a huge problem with this song. It features Matt Heafy from Trivium, and it feels like it's such a waste. He only sings on 4 lines of this song, and it's just like right at the end of the verse, he says 4 lines, which is literally like 4 words at the end of each verse. And he comes in with distorted vocals, and it's kind of more like a backing vocal kind of thing. Like, why would you use such a strong vocalist in such a pointless way? I mean, and this is a solid song. Like, despite the woes in the chorus, the music is fantastic. The vocals sound great. If they would have made the rest of the album a little bit more like this, it would have been a freaking solid album. But why would you do Matt like that? Why are you cutting him out of the song when you could have used him like so dominantly in the chorus and made it huge? I don't know. That's the only problem I have with the song. Otherwise, it's a great song. If you didn't tell me Matt Heafy was in it, I probably would have loved it. And the song Stay, which started out pretty promising. I believe this is a song about the death of someone. It's a very sad song. The lyrics are very touching and pretty well written. It starts out very slow and vulnerable, but then this generic high energy thing that they brought in the chorus, just, it completely ruins the sentiment for me. Like, they tried to make it sound epic and catchy, but it just completely, it crushes the real emotion that this song had. It just felt so natural and real, and you're feeling the weight of this emotion, and then they just do this thing and they make it sound like kind of poppy. And it's like, what do you do? Why are you ruining the vulnerableness of this song by trying to make it like radio friendly in a way? I just don't understand it, especially when you're trying to get this, you're trying to be real. It just takes that away from it. And then you have the very last song, Warrior, which is also, it's pretty cringy. I feel like this album could have done without this song. Again, it's like Imagine Dragons inspired. The vocal and the musical performance and the chorus and the verses, it's just bland. Like, even the drum solo thing, it sounds kind of weird. Like, it's like the backtrack again to another sports movie. It's about being a warrior, and it's like the protagonist is losing again, so this song starts to play, and here he comes, you know he's going to come back again. And I feel like this is a horrible closer. It just could have done without it. Even though I didn't really like the song Stay that much, like what they did with it, I feel like it would have been better, but better yet, Oblivion probably would have been the best. And I completely understand that if you're a fan of Atreyu, you probably don't want to be my friend anymore, especially after the Imagine Dragon references. But I mean, this album, it just didn't do anything for me. I feel like a lot of stuff was poorly executed. If they had a good idea, they found a way to ruin it. If there was a song with a lot of emotion, they found a way to ruin that. If they had a song that had a lot of aggression and they were bringing the energy, in the clean moments, they found a way how to ruin. It's just a lot of great ideas. The execution on it, they tried to be a little bit more unique instead of just letting things flow naturally. And it didn't work. It did not work in their favor. And it's just missing a lot of character. It's basically just an empty arena rock song. And that's basically it. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really go anywhere. And this album it's just arena rock. But I will say that the parts that they did do right, they did a good job on it. The different sections that were heavy, that were good, that even though like the rest of the song was kind of ruined in a sense, those moments were great. Some of the bridges on this were absolutely fantastic. Some of the emotion that they tried to communicate on a couple of these songs, it did get across pretty well, and it felt very authentic in a way. So I got to give it credit in that sense too. So with all that said, I got to give Baptize by Atreyu a 4.2 out of 10. But I'd like to know what you guys thought, especially if you're a longtime fan. I'm sure you've already been writing out your big old long comment telling me how stupid I am since maybe like the 2-minute mark of this video. But go ahead and like let me know what you thought of some songs, what actually wins this album for you, what you think makes it better than what I gave it a rating of. Go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what your favorite songs were, what you thought of it, and what you would rate it. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to give it a like. If you didn't enjoy it, feel free to give it a dislike, but at the same time, let me know why you disagree. And leave a comment below letting me know what I should do next. Please feel free to subscribe and ring the bell icon, that way you get notified when I do upload, that way you don't miss out, especially if you leave a request for Request Wednesday, that way you don't miss out on that review. And I hope you guys all have a good rest of your night or day, whenever you happen to be watching this, and I'll talk to you next time.
I was ignorant kid relying on my parents said to save me. Years gone by, turning over, ignoring every day. Said to convict me. 17 at the top of my